Goodness, folks, I tell you what, this has been a huge, giant pain in the butt. But as you can see here in front of you, you got the first iteration of what I tried putting together, and yeah, don't it look like shit? It looks like complete and total ass. But that's okay, because old Bumzilla went out and fixed his mistakes. As you can see here, I had a lot of issues with overlaying the images because where I took the pictures obviously was not going to be in the same exact location every freaking time. Um, it's taken me a while to figure out how exactly I'm going to compile the data that I needed to compile. You see all the different layers that I put. So I tried changing the opacity of the top layers to show the layer below the layer below the layer below the layer, and man, no, no, that was just wasn't working at all. And let's speed this up here so that you can see how freaking ridiculous. I don't know why I thought this would work. I don't know why. Yeah, there you go, Bumzilla. Just keep trying, man. You'll eventually figure it out, you idiot. There, a little more opacity. There, a little less. Click, click, click. This is so stupid. Why did I think this was gonna work like this? Okay, it's enough. We won't freaking bore you guys with my stupid mistakes anymore. Here's how I actually did it now. Isn't that look a lot more cleaner? I wound up figuring it out that you can click on the map in the replays, and then what I did was I shortened the amount of images that I was going to overlay on top of each other so that I'd only be working with one image at a time, or two images at a time, and have a base image underneath that was soaking up all of the information. As you can see right here, I sped it up, and we'll just go ahead and stop talking about my mistakes. Finally, success, but a pain in the ass success. All right, now that mind-numbing clickety-clack of the old mouse is over with, dear God, was that a tedious, tedious task. Anywho, what you have here is a big giant glob of crap. Not really. What we have here is a very telling sign of where players travel from out of each respective spawn point. All right, so we'll go ahead and start down here at the bottom. As you can tell, you got players. We'll go ahead and we'll just leave this red. Um, you got players that travel from out of this spawn, and they travel up this path, and you get a few outliers that want to move out this way. From this spawn point, you get a lot of players that travel up through here, and you get a few outliers that go this way, and you have a few outliers that go this way, which is really surprising to me. I would figure that this would be a lot heavier traveled path, seeing as how everyone really likes to snipe on large maps. Out of the 10 maps that I've or out of the 10 games that I have pulled this data out of, not very many people go this way. You have the little valley that runs in between here that's slightly traveled. It's not heavily traveled as much as I had predicted it would be. But what you get from this on this side, right? What do you see? Well, what I see personally is honestly areas to avoid. You don't want to travel the path that is most traveled because other people have figured it out, such as myself, is that the travel path that runs this way and follows this ridge line. Here, I'll tell you what, we'll get rid of all this gobbledygook and we'll start. Presto, ta-da! Alright, so like I was saying, from this area right here, so like I said, they got a travel path that travels this way, but a lot of players tend to then run up this way and over to this hill right here. You want to avoid that as much as possible. Um, if anything, you see where these two gentlemen are right here, or these three actually, but I can guarantee you most of these are me. Guaranteed most of these are me. But you want to travel into this little village here. And I'll go ahead and show you what the views from this little village here looks like. Because you have good eyes on up this way and up this way. And you have eyes on kind of over here. You have kind of a ridge right here. But I'll show you when we get into the actual. I'll show you now. All right. So there's a sniper location there, and then you move on down this way. And like I was saying, God damn it! There we go. Your locations for shooting. Check this shit out, folks. Alright, so you have all the way to the back side of the Bravo capture point. Alright. You move into this little area here. You can push up this whole area into here. You got that whole little row of buildings on the back side of capture point. And still be mindful of what's going on over here, because you have those hills that are over here. An enemy can see down into the center of this if they're mindful to look over there. But remember, if they can see you, you can see them, and you can hurt them too. Alright, so that's one position that I've covered in this area. I'm not going to cover this area because we all pretty much know that when you get to a position that's right about in this location, you have good eyes on here. There's the house that sits right here as well. You have good eyes on from there's a little dip in the valley. You can see the elevation lines right here. It drops down into the valley, and you got some rises and dips right here. You got some more elevation that kind of blocks your view, but you pretty much have eyes on all the way down this way. Anyways, let's talk about over here. So as you can see over here, you have a very large number of players that are pushing up through this direction, right? You want to avoid that too. You see these guys out here? That's where you want to be. This is another good path to travel. I'm surprised I didn't see anything on my pictures that I took, but that's another good path to travel. You want to stay out of the heavily traveled areas, because the enemy other players have already figured out what the heavy travel paths are. I already knew this was a heavy travel path. I kind of figured that there would be something here, but I kind of figured there'd be some guys back here. But this is a good location back here, and I'll go ahead and show that to you now. Alright, like how I said about the that land bridge that goes across the lake, how you get to it is you travel this path. God bless this camera. It's so freaking wonky. Up. There we go. Up. Alright. You can sit on the back side of this, and with your sight zoomed in, you have good shots on that left hand side where guys like to poke out. You can even wait for them to fully overextend themselves and get shots on them from here. And keep utilizing this backside. Then you can poke your happy butt on out over here, and you have little bits of pieces of defilade. Not much, but a lot of guys don't tend to look in this direction. Out in this area, and we'll go ahead and zoom in, and show you exactly how much more of the city you can see, and that's a very fantastic location to be shooting people from. You just got to watch out for that area over there. All right, so that's pretty much from this side covered for the most part. Oh, never mind. Hold on. There's one other spot on the map I want to show you guys, and it's right here. When you travel out of this spawn, travel up this way, and you hit this sector of the city, you can either travel on the outside edge up this way, and there's a hill that protects your whole right side. Not a lot of guys tend to look down this way. Or you could take the inner road that's right here and travel on through, and you come up outside on this side, or you can even take it a little bit further on down this way, right through here, and pop up over here, and you will definitely be able to get at least side to possibly rear shots on this ridge line that a lot of guys like to congregate on. But just remember that this is a video that was, or this is pictures taken 3 minutes 30 seconds into the battle. By the time you get up to this location, unless you're in a fast moving vehicle, you could definitely get some work done if you're in a fast moving vehicle. But if you're in a slow mover, I would tend to maybe not travel this. It just depends on what your play style is. I take this route on the outside edge, sometimes pull up to this little ridge right here, and you get the guys that like to camp inside these villages right here. Let's go ahead and get rid of all this, and I'll show you views from here and from here. Alright, area 3 is basically a travel path location. It's just as you turn, so if you were to turn right before entering the main portion of the U of the city, you come up over this little ridge here, and remember what I said, you could either take that inner road, which is right here, what we're looking at now, or you could stay right down here on this path, and we'll show you what I'm talking about the mountains that protect you on the right hand side. Don't be surprised if you do get fragged here, but not a lot of enemies honestly check in this location. You could run into some that are running this, but now that you know that, you have the information advantage on them, and you can deal lots of damage. But as you can see, that inner road also travels to a very good flanking position. Alright, you can even take it in one more road in, travel down this way, out and around, through here. We'll just do this. Down through here, and then you can either pop out here, which, what do you have there? Oh, that's right. And we'll get down to street level. All you have to do is roll up this hill. Then you can pop the guys that are sitting on this hill and the back side of that village. And then you also have the other exit point, which comes down here, which sometimes you will see guys on this hilltop here. But bingo. And all of this is your freaking playground. Such a good maneuver when it works. Okay, now that you guys have seen that, for the most part from this side, like I said, this is, or like I have said in the past, you guys can develop your own play styles from what I show you. This is pretty much just my doctrine that I tend to use on this map. Um, I do not usually attack the objectives until about halfway through the match, or at least what I figure is halfway through the match. I'm always checking my or the leaderboards to make sure or to see how many enemies there are still on the map, and then I'll start hitting the objectives. I know that might sound counterintuitive to some other people's teachings, but what I say is on certain maps, it's okay not to immediately go after the objectives. Yes, it's a lot of silver lions that you gain from it. Yes, it's a lot of research points, but sometimes you want to look for the big win, because the big wins is where you get the big bonuses. Anyways, we'll go ahead and start off on this other side of the map, on the north side of the map. As you can tell here, individuals tend to travel up this way when they spawn here, and you get a few outliers that come this way, and then you got the spawn that's over here to the northeast. People tend to travel up and over this way, and you got this weird outlier out here. That's really honestly useless. That's I don't know why anyone would do this. Don't do this. If you're gonna move to a flank in that direction like that. Alright, now that we have pretty much established travel paths, where individuals like to set up camp is this village here, and of course this ridge line that's right here. You'll get your few snipers that want to pull up to this ridge line. There's an actual little hilltop, and I'll go ahead and show that to you now and show you the views from it. Alright, so this is one of the hilltops that I had pointed out earlier, which is a potential for getting killed hilltop, but wait, yeah. But it gives you a good line of sight up to that other pillbox hilltop. We'll go ahead and zoom in on it. And I'll go ahead and show you the views from this little spot over here as well. And as you can see, you got these trees here that act as a good concealment. Come on. There you go, you can see that hilltop pretty decently from here, and anything in between. There's a little valley, but then you also have shots that reach out all the way to that little valley over there in between those houses. And then you actually have, from right out of the spawn, this hilltop right here. If you have a long gun, you can definitely get some good sniping shots into the open field that's over here. Like I said, if you have the long gun, you have shots down into the little valley that you think you're protected from, right? All of that. All the way back into there. So if you're a good shot, you have eyes on the whole map from here. But you stick out like a sore thumb. I always check this area. Alright, as you can tell, players from this side tend to travel toward Alpha a little faster. I believe their travel path from this point to the Alpha point is a lot quicker, so you're going to want to be mindful of fast movers that want to move in there. You'll even get T-30 485s that tend to move in there. And any light vehicle, they like to run for Alpha whenever they spawn from this side. Then you have your few outliers that just go out into this open field here. But I will show you something right now. This area in particular is really freaking good, really awesome. So you get in here, all right, and you're going to have easy shots into this open valley. And as you can tell here, you do get players that tend to run this open valley. I usually wind up hitting them when I pull up into this little village here as well. And I'll go ahead and show you the views from there right now. Quite possibly one of my most favorite locations in the map. It is, in my opinion, a hidden gem of a location to fight from. It allows you to maneuver pretty silently throughout the map. Shouldn't be telling you guys this, but you guys saw it on one of my, or a couple of my games now. You have shots onto the back side of the hill, the pillbox hill, from this location. Anyone who's stupid enough to pop over that ridge also, I've killed plenty of people that come that way. And turn it around. You can pop up on this little hill here and get the guys that feel like they're safe from any sort of engagements from their left-hand side. That would be their left-hand side as they're traveling on this ridge, lower ridge line. And especially when they get into those trees there, dead, dead, and more dead. It's one of my favorite spots. Then we move into the village. Like I said, the travel path allows you to move silently. You get into this village from the opposite side. As you can tell, either you travel on the outside ridge, as like I said, you have this little tiny defilade that protects you on the left. Alright, now that you've seen the views that look into this little valley here, you also have shots on target. If you move from this location here into this location here, there's a little dip or defilade that you can move under this line here. And always make sure you check that hilltop, but it protects you from fire from this location here, and from players that sit on the back side of this and try and snipe up to these guys up here. But anyways, you move up through here to the back side of this village here, and then you can even pull into the village. Like these are guaranteed hurt me. You pull into this village here, and you have shots for days on the front side of this, and even parts of this hill here. And then you also have shots that it's very small window of opportunity to put rounds on target of vehicles pulling down into the Alpha cap or Bravo cap point, but you do definitely get shots in there. But as you can see here, 3 minutes and 30 seconds into the match, you don't really have that many knuckleheads driving into the cap as fast as possible. You're usually going to be here in this location at about 5 minutes into the match, which by that time the battle's going to have developed quite extensively, and you're definitely going to catch guys out in this field for sure that are going to be bewildered at who the hell is shooting at me from over in this area. It's so funny. They have no idea where it's coming from. I'll show you firing locations from here as well, and what the view looks like right now. And you move up to here, and then bingo. You got shots there. To the back side and to the front side of the pillbox hill. And there's your very limited window of target acquisition right there. You could potentially get shots over into the village. Down in that valley is where you get some funny kills. And then you have shots from your left hand side as well. with very decent cover that cover your left from here too. This is your actual firing angles. And when that position no longer suits you, you move up, continue traveling through this little defilade. And check it out, you've got a full-on flank moving through the center of the map. And you catch all kinds of guys like down in this valley here and right through here. Alright, now that we got the pretty much the east side of the map covered for the most part, I'm not going to cover the sniper locations because we all know what those sniper locations are. And as you can tell, in 10 battles that I have taken pictures of, it is not very heavily traveled. You are going to have your vehicles that are over there, more than likely, maybe 1, 2. It's not as heavily traveled as you think it is. Still be mindful of it if you're spawning from this side. But we'll go ahead and move over to here. As you can tell, this is a very heavily traveled area of the map. They come out of their spawn, like I pointed out before, pull up to the objective, and park their little butts right in here. And we'll go ahead and zoom in on this. As you can tell, from this location right here, I'll go ahead and show you where, as you can tell, there's a bunch of players that have parked themselves in this little spot. I wonder why that is. And I'll show you a really sneaky little thing they do. But it would appear that certain players, and I won't name names, might be me, I don't know, have figured out that there is a sneaky little spot that the enemy can see you, but you can't freaking really see them. They can see you coming unless you pull up to this little intersection here, and you can have shots on them as soon as they cap the point, because you're not going to be able to see them until they poke out to cap the point. Or once they cap the point, they're going to push on further out to here and take up positions to try and stop any other vehicles coming in. But yeah, I'll go ahead and show you this spot now. And last but not least, the one sneaky breaky location. Did you guys see it? Right there. It is a fully protected area to cap the point. Fully protected. Check it out. They will see you coming for days from this location if they're using the third-person camera properly. Now all they have to do is tuck themselves into this back corner here, and they are a tough cookie to dig out. So remember that spot. That's where they're going to be, right in there. Fully freaking protected. And then that's the fucking intersection I was talking about to wait at. So you have to wait for them to pull out of it. It'll be on either side, but you have to wait for them to pull out of it in order to engage, but they won't have a chance if they're moving. Alright, so that's pretty much going to cover Maginot line for the most part. Let me know what I can do to improve what I'm attempting to do here. As I will tell you guys, this is so mind-numbing, this entire click on these little dots. But you know what? I'll be more than happy to do it. We'll go ahead and recap real quick what the hot spots are. 3 minutes, 30 seconds into the Battle of Maginot Line. Oh, shit. So let's go ahead and take one last look at the potential hotspots for the north and south side spawning teams. So you have this valley here. Remember, again, this is 3 minutes 30 seconds into the match. You have the valley on this side, and you have the players already making it. Remember, this is 3 minutes 30 seconds for all, okay? This side makes it to Charlie Point more often than not. Just remember that. If you're running for Charlie, you are going to more than likely not be there before the enemy is there. So remember that spot I showed you. That's where they're going to be more than likely. Anyways, hot spots there and there. You got the Bravo capture point, which is a hot spot at the 3 minutes 30 seconds into the match. And then you have this ridge line that runs this way is the hot spot for the north side spawners. And then let me get rid of all this stuff real quick. And then for the south side spawners, you're going to have, so if you're on this side of the map, remember that the south side spawners are going to be more than likely in this valley by the time you get to the capture point. You're going to have a few, possibly maybe one that shows up early. But anyways, that's a hot spot, 3 minutes 30 seconds into the battle. This entire valley here is a hot spot for enemy activity. Like I said, common travel path is up to this hill here, and then you're going to get your few guys that want to run to Alpha over here. You want to keep an eye on this area here, but just keep looking over here and look to this if you're on that side of the spawn. And then of course, for some reason, this side, well, not for some reason, it's not a hot spot. I would say it's mildly traveled for the most part. You're going to get maybe 1, 2 vehicles, 3 vehicles in a match that wants to take the sniper path, and you need to be mindful of that if you're spawning in the north. Alright folks, I really hope that this video has helped you out for the most part. I know I didn't go into the specifics of the city all that much. Just know that when you get into the city, it's pretty much anyone's game in there, unless you're on the outskirts of it. I can't give you any idea of how you would want to engage inside this city here. And as you can tell, not very many people go there anyways. Not very many at all. Which tells you something. What did I say before? You want to avoid the heavily traveled routes. If you're spawning in the north side and you already have a friendly on the Charlie cap, bring your butts on down into the city. You should be almost, for the most part, free and clear, unless you get some guys that want to pull in later. But yeah, if you're up in this location, just jog off over here, pull into the city, come out on this side, and then Bob's your uncle. You got freaking side or rear shots on enemies, recapping the Charlie point. That's another tactic you can look at too. Alright guys, hopefully the information that I gave you in this video is helpful and you can utilize it to develop your own tactics for Maginot Line. Future maps, I'm going to have to change the time that I'm doing these on, or that I'm pushing it out to, because 3 minutes and 30 seconds on a smaller map is going to look way different than, of course, 3 minutes and 30 seconds on a larger map. So in the future, I'll probably be maybe like 2.5 minutes, maybe 2 minutes. I figured 3 minutes 30 seconds was perfect for showing you the pretty much the stopping locations or beginning of engagements for the most part. Anyways, this has been a pain in the ass. It really has been. Alright folks, I will see you in the next one. Laters.